Hey guys, it's Sebastian from AskSebby, and today we are going to talk about some strategies that you might want to consider for the American Express Gold Card, given that the annual fee is either hitting or coming up for a lot of people. We're going to talk about retention offers, downgrades, keeping it, or maybe canceling the card. If the annual fee is coming up or if it just hit, the big first question that I'm going to ask you in your decision making is, did you get a retention offer? Retention offers are pretty much what it sounds like. So what they are offering you in order for you to retain the card to keep you as a customer. You're going to be able to get these offers when you call in. I don't believe you can chat to get them as of 2019. This might change in the future. If you do want that phone number, I'd recommend going to the blog post down below just because this number can change. And one of the biggest complaints I've gotten for older videos is the numbers and stuff being different than what I put up on the screen. So give them a call. I'd recommend calling during business hours just because I feel like that's when their A-team is working and so you're talking to someone who tends to be American versus someone from abroad. As a reminder, you need to be talking to the right department. If you just talk to someone random, they might not be able to do anything, and generally they don't care. In order to get routed to the right department, you typically need to tell them something along the lines of, I'm considering canceling my card, or the card doesn't really make sense for me. Is there anything you can do, or is there a retention team? You can sometimes even just outright ask to get transferred to the retention team, and depending on the person you're talking to, sometimes they'll just do it. Once you're talking to the right person, pretty much the same exact spiel. I like to mention Chase because I tend to find that it helps, but I don't really have any data on this because I don't have any scripts on the back end of what they're doing. I just feel like it's logical that when you mention the Chase Sapphire Reserve with the gold card, they are more inclined to give you a better offer. The last time you got a retention offer and also how much you use the card, how much you spend on it also plays a role in the retention offer. Again, they want to keep people they feel who are valuable, typically rather than people who they don't feel are valuable. This one might be a bit interesting because this is one of their weird flagship cards that I think a lot of people signed up for, and I think a lot of people are going to call in for retention offers. Looking at data points, there's a bunch of offers that we are seeing that seem pretty consistent. If you want to see this yourself, go to the link down below. Feel free to add to it if you are getting any retention offers, or feel free to just use it as a resource. There's going to be a bunch of offers where you're going to get points by doing a minimum spend. 30,000 points for 4,000 minimum spend, 10,000 points for 1,500 minimum spend, 20,000 points for 3,000 minimum spend. Another one is going to be 15,000 for 2,000 minimum spend. So a lot of different offers. I think for most people, the higher the number is for the points is probably going to be better unless you can't hit the minimum spends, in which the lower ones are the ones that you can actually hit are going to be the better ones. Given this, if you are someone who wants a point offer, it might make sense to kind of prod them along. So if they offer you one of the lower ones, you can be like, hey, my friends got this offer. Is there any way that you can do this as well? The other set of retention offers are going to be something that I would call we'll pay the tip for you. And I think that's actually what they're calling it in a lot of cases. So you get 20% back on dining purchases up to $225. There's also a lower offer for 20% up to $150. If you are going for this offer, then obviously aim for the higher offer rather than the lower one. So again, maybe prod them along to see if you can get that better offer. Between the two offers, it really just depends on you. I think for most people, the points make more sense because the points are more valuable, but then the spend amount is going to be higher, and also it's not focused purely on restaurant spends. Doing a quick example, 20,000 points to me is about $400 in value for $3,000 of spend. That's about 13.3% return on spend, which is worse than the 20% on dining, but just really depends on you. I personally value the points. A few principles here for the retention process is you are not guaranteed a retention offer. A lot of people complain that they don't get one and it's not fair, but that's not really how it works. Oftentimes, if you got one for the same product last year, you don't typically get it back to back. So for the platinum card, I got one last year. I didn't get one this year, which is pretty normal. Number 3 is the idea that you might need to hang up and call again. So some people take what the rep says as the absolute truth, and oftentimes that might not be the case. Reps can be wrong. Reps sometimes don't want to actually do the work, or sometimes they feel that you're full of it. They don't really care. You might get drastically different responses and different things that they pull up based off when you call, who you talk to, and even their mood. With stuff like this though, I would make sure that you're not overdoing it. I typically don't recommend calling too many times. At most, I'd probably do maybe 3 to 5 times. Don't be that person who calls every 5 minutes over and over again, because I feel like they track that as well. 30-second tangent, because I think this is a really funny story. There was a time where I was trying to merge my Marriott and SPG accounts because they were merging at that point, and also I had 2 separate accounts, and on their end I couldn't really do it because of some weird issue. I called in and the person I talked to said that it was illegal to have 2 accounts, that they had to take away all my points and to close my accounts. She was like, "Hey, can I confirm your name and your address for this?" Immediately hung up. She called me back, and then I just turned off my phone because I didn't want to deal with it. And then I called back 6 hours later, and the person was like, "Yeah, we can do this. We have to do this because it's a weird bug that is very specific since you already merged 1 accounts." So one rep who wanted to shut down all of my accounts and said I was doing illegal stuff, and the other person who just did it because they actually wanted to do their job. So that's going to be the retention part. I don't know why I did that. Retention part, and then if you do not get a retention offer, your next decision is, do you want to keep the card? The easiest way to figure this out is to play with the expected value calculator. So I built a calculator a while ago talking about the numbers that you're getting. So what annual fee are you paying, the credits you're getting, how you're valuing the credits, how much you're spending on the card, the value of the points that you're earning, and pretty much everything else involved with that calculation. If you want to play with that yourself, I'd recommend going to that link down below. It's going to be in the description box. Spend 2-3 minutes playing with it, and I think it will help you make an educated decision. Literally, it's plugging in numbers and toggling different things and just picking different options. I built the calculator to make it easier for you guys. The point of this is to see whether you are getting positive expected value from the card without any other incentive. So without any retention offer and without any intro bonus. If you are not getting value from the card based off all of the features that the card has, then it does not make sense to keep the card. If you are getting value, one other thing that you might want to factor in is something called opportunity cost. So take all that spend that you were also going to do and pick another card that you would get, that you would have where you're getting points back or cash back, typically 2%. So let's say that you're spending $10,000 on that card. The opportunity cost is 10,000 times 2%. You would want to subtract this opportunity cost number from the expected value number just to keep it mathematically fair. I guess I could build it into the calculator, but people get very confused very quickly. So I think it's just easier explaining it like this. If it does not make sense, then now you have to either decide whether you want to downgrade it or cancel the card. With downgrades, it's a bit interesting because if you're someone watching this in the future, you have substantially more information than we do. The reason is because the only downgrade path for this card is going to be the green card, which still has an annual fee. We don't really know what that new annual fee is. Right now, it's $95 technically, but it could probably be $125 or maybe $115 or something, probably $125 though. The other big question mark is we don't really know what features it has. So we knew what the past card was, but with this new revamp, we currently don't know anything. I probably wouldn't downgrade to the green card because it's still going to have an annual fee, and by downgrading to it, you end up losing out on that intro bonus, whatever it ends up being. If you want to keep your credit history alive for that card and you don't mind downgrading and missing out on that intro bonus, then maybe that makes sense, but really depends on you. One question people probably have is, can you upgrade the gold card to the platinum card? You could, but I feel like signing up for it makes a bit more sense, given that American Express is really pushing people to have both the gold card and the platinum card. So the optimal strategy isn't to really just have one of these 2 cards. The other thing too is by upgrading, you end up losing out on the sign-up bonus, the welcome bonus, intro bonus, whatever you want to call it, given that there is a once-in-a-lifetime rule for American Express. Optimal strategy is probably to sign up for the platinum card to get an intro bonus, and then next year upgrade the gold card into a platinum card if you get an upgrade offer, and then downgrade the other platinum card, the one that you just signed up for, into the gold card to kind of do a swap. With that strategy, you end up getting an intro bonus as well as an upgrade bonus, rather than just you upgrading right now and getting an upgrade bonus. Yeah, I think upgrade bonuses actually make American Express really interesting and also complicated in the end game. The final option with all of this is going to be to cancel the card. So this is typically not ideal, especially if you're someone who's thin file, if this is an early card, just because you want cards to keep aging with you. They do age when you cancel them, so that's not too bad, but they do eventually fall off. This pretty much means that in the short term, you're not really going to notice too many negative impacts of that cancellation, but long term, it's probably not a good thing. But the good thing is that you can easily replace that card by just adding in pretty much any other card. If you go down that cancellation route, I'd probably look to add some no annual fee cards or cards with downgrade paths, given that you're probably thin file. A lot of Chase cards have this option, Bank of America cards, Capital One cards, and even American Express credit cards that are not the gold, platinum, green system typically also have downgrade paths. If you're someone who has a pretty thick credit file, then I probably wouldn't worry about this because you probably are in a pretty good spot. Unless this is your only credit card, I probably wouldn't keep it if a card doesn't make sense. So I expect that to be another question, whether you should keep a card if you're not getting value from it just for your credit file. No, I wouldn't do that because that doesn't really make sense to me. You could if you really wanted to, but you're just better off applying for other cards that don't have an annual fee or have that downgrade path. If you are someone canceling the card and you're not really sure what card you should get to replace that, I'd look into early Chase cards or look into our other video where we talk about a bunch of different mid-game cards that have downgrade paths, just because that makes a lot of sense. You're getting good intro bonuses and you can downgrade these to sock drawer cards. Sock drawer cards. On that note, if you are someone looking to learn more about any credit cards from American Express, Chase, whoever else, very easy way to support our channel would be to use the links that are on our website, AskSebby.com, or down below in the description box. My question for you guys is, what are you going to be doing with your gold card? Are you keeping, canceling, downgrading, or did you get a retention offer? Let me and the community know down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out. If you know anyone else who'd benefit from what we just talked about, feel free to share the video with them. It'll probably help them out. But otherwise, hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time.